All right guys, today we're checking out the Meet One Tour Lite full suspension electric trike. As you can see, it's a semi-recumbent trike, so lots of room over here to extend your legs. And the frame is made out of 6061 aluminum alloy. Very wide saddle seat, super comfortable backrest, and with the step-through design and the adjustability with the backrest and the seat, this can accommodate a wide range of riders. So let's walk through all the features. So the first thing you'll notice are these 20x4-inch fat tires, a bit of a dual sport tread, definitely the perfect size for where we live in Michigan. Integrated front fender, got a front suspension fork over here with adjustments. You got the compression as well as the preload. Here's the integrated front headlight, nice and bright. You also have turn signals, so this is the right and this is the left. I believe you also get turn signals on the rear over here. Right now they're flashing because I have the parking brake on. Here's a look at the Star Union hydraulic disc brakes, 180mm rotor. And what's great is that you actually have these brakes on all three wheels. So here's the left rear and the right rear. This is the first time I've seen 3 brakes on an electric trike. Here's a look at the handlebars. You have a riser over here that's adjustable, so you could bring it a little bit closer if you need to. Comes with these mirrors, which are actually really helpful when riding. Ergonomic rubber grip, display controls. Here's a look at the hydraulic brake levers. This also has a parking brake. So this little switch over here, when you squeeze the levers down and this clicks in, it basically locks in the bike. So very helpful, especially when you're parking on an incline. And I think all electric trikes should have a parking brake, to be honest, just for safety. Here's a look at the center mounted 5-inch color LCD display. So pretty bright, but it's a really simple design, easy to read. You also have 3 different pedal modes, and to do reverse you actually have to have it in 0 and then you hold down the minus button and it'll start blinking like that, and then you have to hit the throttle and you'll go in reverse. So having a parking brake and a reverse function, to me, are what all electric trikes should feature. Here's a look at the Shimano 7-speed shifter and a right-hand half twist / thumb throttle. So 2 ways you could use this, either as a half twist, right? Or you could just use your thumb. It's all preference. So here's a look at the semi-recumbent saddle seat. Like I said, this thing you can actually move forward or back, and you also have this adjustable backrest, forward or back, depending on your height, and super comfortable, plenty of cushion. You also got a little cooling vent over here. So on the website, you can actually also get a premium seat with armrests, and it looks amazing. This might be a little bit hard to see, but for the motor, we have a single 750 watt rear hub motor with a torque sensor. And then behind the motor is the speed differential. So this lets both wheels turn at different speeds. So this improves control and balance when you're turning or when you're riding on uneven road. For the battery, we have a 48 volt 20 amp hour UL certified removable battery. I believe there's Samsung cells in here, and you can actually upgrade this to 45 amp hours. So there is an option to get a second battery if you want to increase the range. And I love where it's located. It's like right under the saddle, right next to the wheels. It's not on the frame itself. And if you add a second battery, it'll even out the weight distribution as well, and really easy to remove when you're storing it as well. Here's a look at the chain. So really big chain ring, and then you have this guard over here. You also got integrated rear fenders for the back wheels as well. You also have these dual rear shocks, which is going to be incredible for comfort. I don't know the exact spring rate, but it looks like these are probably 220mm. So theoretically, you could upgrade these things to like D&Ms or just something that can hold like more weight, depending on how you like to ride. You also have this towing mounting point over here. So I think this is to tow like something lightweight, you know, like a wagon or something like that. I don't think it's meant to tow something super heavy. Now the big feature over here is this large integrated rear cargo basket with the rack that can hold up to 150-pound capacity. Although there's another part of the website that says it can hold only 100, but there's plenty of room. Comes with this nice bag, zip up bag, and plenty of room to store your items. So perfect for running errands, getting groceries, that kind of thing. And supposedly the total weight capacity for the trike is about 550 pounds. So this can definitely accommodate a heavier rider, heavy cargo. And I actually have a mod that I want to try where I can add a passenger, but we'll see if that works. Now the top speed of this trike is only about 22 miles per hour, but that's actually a lot for a trike. Most of the trikes that we reviewed, they kind of max out at 15 miles per hour for safety. But I think because it's semi-recumbent, it can go a little bit faster and will be a little bit more stable. And the total weight of this trike is 164 pounds. So now that we've gone over all the features of the Meet One Tour Lite, let's take it out for its first ride. All right guys, first ride with the Meet One Tour Lite electric trike. Very easy to hop on, super comfortable. Let me demonstrate the reverse function. So when you're on 0 riding mode, if you hold down the minus button, you'll get the hazards blinking, and then you turn the throttle and you go in reverse. So a very helpful feature. If you need to back this thing out, it does go really fast though. This is my stance. I could probably pull the saddle seat a little bit closer since my legs are shorter. If you're a taller rider, this should be pretty comfortable for you. I'm gonna sit up just a little bit. All right, let's start on pedal assist level 1. No throttle, and get right into it. Feels heavy on pedal assist level 1 without any throttle. I do have it on gear 7, but definitely feel the weight of this trike. Not quite sure how comfortable this feels. There's only 3 different riding modes, or 3 pedal assist modes. So let's bump it up to 2. Here we go. That feels better. Yeah, if you're not throttling, definitely gotta put it up to 2 just to have a better power to weight ratio. So far, I really like the rear differential. I mean, I feel planted on this pavement over here, even with like these, you know, sharper turns. Yeah, you can definitely feel it working. Varying the speeds of the rear wheels to keep me balanced. Really nice. Pedal assist level 3. Full throttle. And getting about 20 miles per hour. This thing has some kick to it.
That was 22.
I think it can go up to 24 or 22, yeah. Now this feels like a lot of fun right now. Give it a little throttle, a little pedaling, and yeah, just super easy to maneuver. Squeeze the brakes a little bit. I love that there's disc brakes on each wheel, so you just have so much control when you're riding it. Should we try some off-road? Let's try some off-road here. I don't know if I can hit that hill. Maybe I can. I'll have to give it some throttle and some pedaling. Woo! Woo! I can't do it. We'll have Sully do it on the drone. Me? This is my kind of road right here. Oh yeah. Love it. I really love the rear suspension shocks. I mean, you could definitely feel it working in tandem with the saddle. This would be really rough terrain on any other trike, and that was actually not too bad. Let's hop back down here. Woo! Oh God. Oh God. All right, we could do a brake test. Let me go down there. All right, full speed, 20 miles per hour, 21, and brake. Wow, lots of stopping power.
All right, going right into it now. See if we can make it. Pin to win right now. Nope. Almost. We gotta downshift a little bit here. We're gonna get this. Downshift into mode 1. We're gonna get a run up. All right, we're taking the center of the hill. It's a little less steep. Bumpier run up, a little less speed. A little bit of help with the old legs. Climbing this hill like a champ. That was still just as steep, it just was a little bit shorter. Let's try this one that's a bit taller but not as steep. And we'll go from pavement over. I love how like stable this bike is. It does not feel like it's gonna flip over on you whatsoever. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's a heavy bike. Woo! the suspension really is doing pretty good. You know, it's still rough, but like if you have back problems, you're not gonna want to do that. But if you're a younger guy like me, it's all right, it's not too bad. This thing is super comfortable though. I mean, you can just put your feet up and you're just having a good old day, you know? You can have, you know, have your beer go around the campground, haul your firewood, your kids around, or their toys or whatever, and, you know, and you have this like super stable like trike. I mean, like this is coming into a turn at 14 miles an hour and it's like nothing. It hardly even lost grip. This is like coming into another turn here through some gravel, with them fat tires really gripping. There we go. Now we started to pick this one up, but I mean, you can't beat this thing, man. Too much fun.
So let's recap the specs. The Meet One Tour Lite is a full suspension electric trike built for comfort, control, and utility. It features a step-through frame made from 6061 aluminum and a semi-recumbent seat with a backrest, making it accessible for a wide range of riders. Up front, you get a bright LED headlight with about 25 meters of visibility, while the rear includes integrated brake lights and a cargo basket with a 150-pound capacity. The 5-inch LCD display shows everything you need: speed, distance, battery life, and reverse status. Total weight lands at 164 pounds, and it can carry up to 550 pounds, including rider and cargo. Power comes from a 750-watt rear hub motor with a torque sensor, paired with a 48-volt, 20-amp-hour Samsung battery. Top speed is around 22 miles per hour, and depending on the conditions, you can get up to 110 miles of range with dual batteries and pedal assist. You've got 5 assist levels, a half-twist thumb throttle, and even reverse mode. As far as stability, it also features hydraulic front and rear suspension, a speed differential for better cornering, hydraulic disc brakes on all 3 wheels, and wide 20x4-inch fat tires for mixed terrain.
Alright guys, so I have a mod idea for the Meet One electric trike. The reason I thought about this is because I always wanted a trike where I could transport a passenger. Now from what I understand, this cargo rack can hold up to 150 pounds, but what makes me confident about the weight are these dual suspension shocks. So if the total weight that this can carry is about 550 pounds or 500 pounds, then this area over here should be good enough to hold at least a 150 pound passenger. I have some ideas on how to make this work. So the first thing I'd want to do is actually flip this cargo basket to be facing forward over here. So the bolt patterns on this rear basket allow it to move up a couple inches, so it would be actually flush with this part of the frame. This means that I would have to take this off. I'd have to lose the backrest, which is unfortunate. This gives me more surface area for the passenger to be sitting on the frame itself and not on the rack, so I'd eliminate all this overhang. Another thing that I would want to do is I'd probably remove this bag over here, cut a piece of plywood that's about 20.5 inches by 17.5 inches, and then pop it on top of here. So that would be the platform, which is basically this thing that I created. So this is the piece of plywood that I already cut that would go on top of the basket. I upholstered it with some cheap vinyl. Also drilled some holes over here, and I'm going to use some industrial zip ties to attach it to the basket. You'll also notice I put these 2x4s over here so that these ends would sit flush on the frame just to give it a little bit more support. So I found these foot pegs that actually can mount to the tube frame over here. So I'd probably mount them over here like above the battery, something like that, so that the passenger can put their feet somewhere. And these things also fold up, so that would be great to get it out of the way. I found these strap-on handles. These are basically for a Jeep roll cage, and I'd probably add 2 of these on the sides over here so the passenger has some place to put their hands. Also got this seat belt. So this seat belt is actually made for wheelchairs, and I extended them with these handlebar straps, and then I'd attach it somewhere over here connected to the frame itself, and then route it up here like so. Since I'm losing this backrest, I'm probably gonna add this cushion over here wedged in between the seat and the basket. So this would act as kind of a mini cushion, but also as a support. So this is a foldable canoe seat. I believe it could hold up to 300 pounds or so. It has these straps on the bottom. I actually extended it to make it a little bit longer, and this would hook onto the board over there. And to actually reinforce it to the basket, I bought these 2-inch nylon straps with the buckles. So I'll have 2 running vertical and then 2 running horizontal. And that should actually keep this thing locked in to the basket. If it's too sketchy, we'll just take it off. I had some of these parts lying around. Again, I'll put the links in the description if you want to do this mod. All right, so let's throw it on and see how it looks.
One debt to society later.
All right, guys, so here's my passenger mod for the Meet One Tour Lite semi-recumbent electric trike. Now, full disclosure, not sure this is really meant for this kind of thing. So if you decide to do this mod, do it at your own discretion. So there are some main compromises if you do this mod. The biggest one is that you lose the backrest to the seat, and you also have to move the cargo rack a little bit closer, which means that you lose some space over here. I just felt like having all the weight on the frame itself instead of some of it hanging over would actually make this a little bit more balanced. I also like that this seat has a pocket over here. You need to add some items in the back. And I like that the seat folds down, so if you did want to transport like a backpack or something, you could put it on top with the seat belt to buckle in, or you could put it like on the seat itself and also buckle it in as well. So now let's go test it out with a passenger.
This should be pretty cool. I've never ridden a trike before. I don't know about you, Katie.
No, I haven't. And then it's got this, we've got the seat, we've got the pedals for me, seat belt. You're gonna have me sit on this wood thing?
You're gonna be sitting on this, Katie. I think
Okay.
it looks like good craftsmanship. I'm gonna trust
does.
that Rick knows what he's doing.
It's a canoe seat. It's not like one of those arena seats, so it's got like the metal frame.
All right. You got a seatbelt? Oh, this is nice. Okay.
Yep.
Locking in, safety first.
So where did you get this seat belt? What is this seat belt? What is this for? Is this a wheelchair seat belt?
Off we go, pedal assist 1. I am weak though. Okay.
Oh, the handles come in handy.
Are you hanging on tight? Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't need to quite yet, but I'm sure when we get going, yeah.
Once we get on the off-road here, we're gonna head to Target on this, and we might need a little extra structure. Here's the thing with trikes. I always feel like I have to lean into the turn.
I understand that.
Because it's like,
But it feels really good back here. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm sitting on a modified seat. Like, I feel like it's part of the bike.
nice, okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And I don't really feel it. Like, once we're in motion, I can't even tell you're back there. All right, I'm gonna go to pedal assist 3, 2. Wait, let me make this turn first.
Okay. I get what you mean about the leaning thing. It does kind of feel...
It's just like a little precarious, but
Yeah.
it's fine, I'm sure. Like,
I also wonder if it would be different if you and I leaned at like the same time, you know?
yeah.
But like, it doesn't... I don't feel off back here at all.
and it's super smooth. We're in pedal assist 2 right now. Really nice. Like, I do feel kind of, I guess for me, I honestly have shorter limbs, but I feel a little bit like squished into the front. And I can't tell if that's because I'm just trying to give you more room back there, or if it's like...
I feel like I have a lot of room back here, and I feel where the pedal,
the foot rests, yeah.
yeah, that's like perfect. For someone taller, I could see like wanting to put them a little bit lower, but for me per se, they're perfect.
All right, we're gonna go to 3. Let's take this baby. You know what? I'm gonna do like let's do a little launch. You had to.
Holy cow, that really gets some momentum.
I'm using a little bit of throttle here. That's pretty fast.
That is really fast.
Luckily, the brakes work fantastically.
Remember, Rick is on the right.
Always forget. Do you want to do some off-roading?
I mean, at this point now, I think you give it a try.
Oh God, oh God. Oh.
Yeah, you would definitely so I can feel it kind of hitting the bottom, like it's like don't. Yeah, like now I can tell I'm sitting on a modified seat.
I can definitely feel it from the front too. Oh. It just feels like we're gonna fall. It's fine. So maybe don't go off-roading with this with your friend.
Don't go on an incline.
On an incline to the side.
I think it's great. And the modifications to it, at least. I like having the handlebars there because sometimes when you took a turn, I felt like I had to hang on.
Yeah.
After the first couple of times turning, it wasn't that bad. The seatbelt, I think, is really great too. I liked that a lot. that made me feel, I have to imagine if it's not on there, like that potentially, yeah. I like that there was this pad here because I think one, you need it, and then two, when my legs were here, it was helpful to have, because then otherwise it would have been
Like hit that edge there. It's kind of hard, yeah.
Yep. No, I felt secure in it. I felt safe. I really liked these. I really liked, because I was worried, like, well, what are my feet gonna do?
Yeah.
No.
Keeps them from dangling, and it probably gives you a little bit more like leverage too when we're going into turns and whatnot, because you kind of brace against them.
Yep. It didn't feel like I was riding on wood, that's for sure.
So I think part of the issue with the ergonomics on my end is partly because the backrest was removed in order to make the passenger seat possible. Normally you would have a bit more of a semi-recumbent positioning with this bike. And so with the current setup here, your back is way more straight up, and the passenger has a bit more room. And again, like, it was still comfortable. Like, I didn't get any cramps or anything like that. It was just something I noticed as I was driving, especially as I was like turning the bike. You could kind of feel that lean of potentially tipping over, but it never actually feels like the bike is going to tip over. I think it's just kind of a psychological thing in some ways of riding a trike for the first time. It definitely benefits from slower, shorter distance rides, slower speeds, definitely. I assume that this is pretty well kitted to, go from the house to the park or from the house to the grocery store and whatnot, little kind of tootling around town, things like that.
Okay, so off-road perception for me would be, you would definitely have to replace the shocks if that was possible, and or somehow make this part not feel so, yeah, like it feels like it's sitting on stilts. It doesn't when you're on flat, but when you go off-roading and you're kind of on the bumps, yes. The handles come in handy for off-roading along with this the seatbelt, but I would say as far as like feeling like comfortable and padded, yes, this is good. I would maybe put a little bit more padding on there, some kind of memory foam cushion or something to just give it a little bit extra, but otherwise I think this type of seat really worked nicely. I could also see like either my mom or dad riding on this, a little bit older, 3 wheels, a little bit more balance. It's a little bit easier to ride, right? And there's not a whole, like 2 wheels you kind of got to hold up and it's a little bit heavier, but this is like hop on, hop off.
I feel like it's a very capable and surprisingly powerful trike as well. I really like the torque of it. It makes good power, it makes good speed. The pedal assist is very responsive. Whether you're in pedal assist mode 1 or mode 3, like it gives you some confidence that, you're going to be able to get to where you're going to go safely.
Doing a street ride. Going downhill, maxing out at 23, 24 miles per hour. Turn over here, headed to the bike lanes. This is really kind of perfect for this kind of riding, just like on the pavement, a few speed bumps, cutting through the parking lot. Yeah, this thing is just so comfortable. I think I have to move the seat back just a little bit closer since I'm a short rider. My back is kind of barely touching, but that's fine. We'll get it done. All right, entering the bike lanes. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, definitely good for the bike lanes. I don't feel like I'm taking up too much room. And I have enough power to kind of power through over here. Some obstacles. Dodging the obstacles, no problem. And looks like I'm averaging maybe, 15 miles per hour. And I just feel super secure, super safe. Knock on wood. I feel safe. It doesn't mean that cars won't see me, even though I am riding a giant electric trike through the bike lane. I am curious what you guys think about infrastructure like this, where it's like you have bike lanes on like one side of the street. And depending on what side of the street you're on, if you're riding on the opposite side, then cars coming out of driveways or the parking garages won't see you. So I'm not sure if that's something that you guys agree with, but for me it's been pretty good. You just have to keep your head on a swivel because cars will just pop out. The torque sensor on this thing is really, really nice. It's really comfortable. It definitely gives you the most kind of naturalistic feel with riding this bike. I know I forgot to mention that in the first ride, but when you have a well-calibrated torque sensor in addition to a well-calibrated rear differential, it makes such a big difference. All right, we're gonna go up this incline, see if we can make it. Should be no problem, I think. All right, come to a stop right here, and let's see if, ooh, can I make it? We'll have to push it up the hill. Okay. Let's see if we can cross here. All right, so that hill test did not work that great. For some reason, maybe it was the brake sensor cutting off the motor, but yeah, I couldn't actually get up that hill at a stop. If I kept going, I definitely would have cleared it, but yeah, that did not work that well, unfortunately. And for whatever reason, I couldn't really pedal uphill either. So not sure what's going on. Pedaling through the city. A few obstacles coming up here. Really interesting, like riding this big trike. I definitely feel more visible, but I am more wary of like when I'm like kind of maneuvering through this area over here. Like the wheels and like not getting caught. It would be interesting to have just a little bit more power, just a little bit more top speed on something like this. I don't know how safe that would be, but I would definitely want to try the dual motor version of the MeetOne. I think that gets a little bit higher top speed. I think it's a dual motor, so there's a front hub motor and then a center one in the rear. And I'm sure that would actually be really helpful for the inclines, like especially that hill that I couldn't get over. Just having a motor that can kind of pull me feels really, really helpful. So hopefully we get our hands on that and do a review. Maybe we could go in through this little section over here, closed off section. Technically I am a bike, so should be no reason why I couldn't go through here. Pop off the curb, and there we go. Yeah, I love it when they close the streets. The passenger mod that I did, definitely some pros and cons to it. I don't know, I think it's probably ideal if you have like a lighter rider in the back. I'm glad that I did the mod, and for the next trike that I review, I'm hoping to get something that can accommodate like a rear passenger. You know, just kind of like a rickshaw or something like that, or like a little passenger pedicab kind of thing. That would be fun. All right, first impressions with the MeetOne electric trike. Yeah, I love this thing. The dual rear shocks, I mean, that was really nice. Super comfortable. Front shock was fine. I didn't really adjust the compression or anything or the preload, but felt fine to me. The large 20x4" tires, especially on, you know, this pavement, super nice. The rear differential, you know, especially when I was doing those turns, you could really feel the rear wheels kind of like changing speeds during those turns, and it was really, really responsive. So I never felt like I was going to lose balance. I've never heard of the MeetOne brand, but I do know that they have a bunch of different electric trikes, different flavors. They also have a dual motor electric trike, which I think would be super cool for like climbing hills and stuff. Anyway, for this first ride, the Meet One Tour Lite, solid recommend.
The Meet One Tour Lite stands out for its stability, comfort, and hauling capacity. The rear differential makes tight turns more manageable, while the wide, three-wheel stance and semi-recumbent seat offer extra balance for riders with limited mobility or back issues. A large integrated basket in the rear makes it easy to carry groceries, gear, or supplies. On the flip side, the Trike's size and weight can make it tricky to load onto a vehicle or store without a garage or shed. And because of its long wheelbase, the benefits of the semi-recumbent design are best suited for slightly taller riders. So, what do you think of the Tour Lite? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.